This is part 13 of JavaScript with ASP.NET tutorial. In this video, we'll discuss how to implement a simple password strength checker using JavaScript. Here is what we want to achieve. As we type the password in the password text box, the strength of the password should be displayed within the label control. The password strength is determined based on the scoring criteria. If the password contains at least 8 characters, then add 20 points to the password score. If it contains at least one lowercase letter, then add 20 more points. If it contains at least one uppercase letter, 20 more points. If it contains at least one number, 20 more points. And if it contains at least one special character, then 20 more points. So if your password satisfies all these conditions, then the password score is going to be 100. So if the password score is greater than or equal to 100, then the password strength is strong. If it's greater than or equal to 80, then the password strength is medium. Greater than or equal to 60, weak. Less than 60, very weak. So let's see how to implement this in an ASP.NET Web Forms application. So let's drag and drop a text box control onto this web form. And we also need a label control, so let's drag and drop that as well. And within this script section, let's write a JavaScript function. Let's name this check password strength. Let's create a few variables within this function. The first thing that we need is the password text box itself. So password text box equals document.getElement by ID, and the ID of the text box is textbox1, so let's copy that. And next we need the password itself, so let's create a variable for that. Password equals password text box dot value. And then let's create a variable which is going to store the special characters. To speed things up, I have typed some of the special characters, so exclamation, pound, dollar, percentage, etc. So let's include them in this variable. And then let's create another variable to hold password score. And let's initialize that to 0. Now the first thing that we want to do is check if the password contains at least one of these special characters. So I'm going to use a for loop here for variable I equals 0, I less than password dot length I plus plus. If our special characters are present in this variable, special characters. So if special characters dot index of, and the password is present in this variable, password dot char at, so if the index is greater than -1. So what does this condition mean here? So basically we are checking if the password contains at least one of these special characters. So in order to check that, we are looping through each character within the password. So we are using a for loop, looping through each character. And this caret function is going to give us each character that is present within the password. And then we are passing that character to this index of method, which we are calling on this special characters string. So if the character that is present within the password, if that can be found in the special characters string, then the index of method is going to return the index of that character within that string. And the index, if the character is found, will definitely be greater than -1. So if that's the case, we want to add 20 points to this password score. So if there is a special character within the password string, then add 20 points to password score. Now if the string contains at least one lowercase letter, then we want to add 20 more points. So let's check that. If, now we are going to use regular expressions for this. So if regular expressions are usually present in 2 forward slashes, if A to Z, the small letters, the lowercase letters, if A to Z dot test, and we want to check if any of the characters between A to Z are present within the password. If that's the case, then add 20 more points to the password score. Similarly, if the password contains at least one uppercase letter between A to Z, then add 20 more points. And if the password contains at least one number, and to check if a number is present within a string, we use \d, that's the regular expression. And if a number can be found, at least one number within the password, then add 20 more points. And finally, if the password length is greater than 8 characters, then add 20 more points. So password dot length greater than or equal to 8, then add 20 more points. Now let's go ahead and create two more variables. Variable strength, let's initialize that to an empty string. Variable background color, and let's initialize that also to an empty string. If now here is our scale. If the password score is greater than or equal to 100, then the password strength is strong. So if password score greater than or equal to 100, then strength equals strong, and background color equals green. We want to change the background color of the password text box to green. Okay. Else if, let's make a copy of this. So else if password score is greater than or equal to 80, then the password strength is medium. So strength is going to be medium, and we want the background color to be gray. So let's make a copy of this. If it's greater than or equal to 60, then the password strength is weak, and we want to display a maroon background color. And finally, if it's less than 60, the password score, then the password strength is very weak, and we want to display red background color within the text box control. Okay. Right. So now document.getElementById, we want to display the strength of the password within the label control, and the ID of the label control is label1. So let's copy that. Dot inner HTML equals strength of the password. And let's also change the background color of the text box. So we already have the password text box. So password text box dot style dot background color equals, we have a variable background color. And let's also change the font color of the text box. And to change the font color, we use the color property. So let's change the font color to white within the text box control. Alright, and we want to call this JavaScript function on key up event of the text box control. So anytime we type a key into the text box, we want to call this function. Alright, so let's go ahead and run this. And look at this. As we type P, capital letter P, only one letter, so the password is very weak. So Prajim, and at the moment we only have 6 characters there. The moment I add a number, look at that, the password strength has changed from very weak to weak. Now if I put another number, look at that, medium, and if I include a special character, now it is strong. So if you look at this password, it contains a special character, one number, one lowercase letter, one uppercase letter, and the length of the password is greater than 8. So it satisfies all these conditions, so it displays strong within the label control. At the moment, the characters within the password are displayed within the text box control. If you don't want that, simply set text mode property of the text box control to password, and that should hide the characters. So let's reload this page. So look at this, as we type, now the characters are not displayed. Thank you for listening and have a great day.